Tonight, questions remain over how the legal system and lawmakers will handle the shooting at Richneck Elementary School in Newport-News. Police say a young student intentionally shot a first-grade teacher, Abby Zwerner, Friday. Chief Steve Drew said it's unprecedented for a 6-year-old to shoot a gun at a school.
But it's happened at least 3 other times in American history. New at 6, Dan Kennedy investigates what precedent there is for handling these tragic cases.
The intentional shooting of Newport-News teacher Abigail Zwerner by her 6-year-old student at Richneck Elementary captured headlines worldwide and made history in America.
Is this the youngest intentional school shooter you've ever seen in your research?
Yeah, this is by far the youngest. It's really unique in that circumstance.
David Reedman is a criminologist and founder of the K-12 school shooting database. His research shows more than 2,200 shootings on school grounds over the past 53 years. Rarely is a first grader behind the trigger, although it has happened before.
This is the 4th case of a 6-year-old with a gun. This is very similar to a case in 2000 in Flint, Michigan, where a 6-year-old shot and killed another 6-year-old inside the school.
In that case, prosecutors determined the boy was too young to have formed criminal intent. Instead, they charged his uncle with involuntary manslaughter for leaving the gun easily accessible in their home. The other 2 cases involving 6-year-olds were ruled clear accidents.
Ultimately, any shooting in a school that involves a small child and those shootings that involve teens are 100% preventable if the person who owns the firearm keeps it locked and keeps it secured.
In Newport-News, police say the mother of the boy legally bought the gun and kept it at home. Tonight, questions remain over how the gun was secured and if anyone will face charges in a case that's left even the police chief stumped.
How does a 6-year-old know how to use a firearm? I don't know that I could give you an adequate answer.
The K-12 school shooting database shows a large spike starting in 2018. Reedman says this follows a pattern of increased gun violence nationwide. Already 9 people have gotten shot on K-12 school property in this new year. Dan Kennedy, 13 News Now.
That shooting is sparking the discussion of gun control among Virginia lawmakers. Now education advocates and state representatives are trying to find ways to prevent things like this from happening again. Ann Sparacco picks up our team coverage with more.
It's a rare situation the Newport News community and the rest of Virginia are still trying to fully understand.
There's not a person, I think, in this state that wasn't touched over what has happened.
Investigators say a 6-year-old student got a 9mm handgun from inside his own home before bringing it to Richneck Elementary School and shooting his first-grade teacher, Abby Zwerner. President of the Virginia Parent-Teacher Association, Pamela Kroom, says she is calling for state lawmakers to invest in the Center for Firearm Intervention and Prevention to help bring agencies together to stop gun violence in its tracks.
Working in conjunction with the Department of Health and Social Services and the Behavioral Health Departments as well. This, as we keep saying, is going to take everybody.
Meanwhile, Virginia representatives are trying to figure out how to translate this situation into law on the General Assembly floor. Delegate Michael Mullen says he wants to get down to the root of the problem, starting with wider access to counseling.
We need to make sure that we have mental health professionals who are there every day to be able to help our students. And so much of that is Richmond putting the investments into our pre-K, K-12, and our high schools.
I'm Ann Sparacco for 13 News Now.